with latest trends. So even though you finish school, you're still going to continue to learn and to grow. I mean, you look at how the work environment has changed over the years. It went from most of the jobs being blue collar to now everything's tech and computer coding, and
Everything's going automated and digital.
Yeah, so you got to stay up with the latest knowledge, the latest trends. Keep your tools sharp. With accounting, there is a little change. I mean, it's not as big as some of these other areas, but you do have to keep up with all the different rules, regulations, things like that, as well as with things being automated, new programs, new software.
Yeah.
So, I've keeping your brain sharp, I think, will help. And then second, I mean, you look at there's professional athletes who have made millions and millions of dollars.
Yep.
And
Allen Iverson.
They're broke. Yeah, Allen Iverson. I'm trying to think of who I just heard the other day, but
I saw one of the NFL players. He had the richest contract of $200 million, and he just filed bankruptcy.
Yeah, it was that running back that played for Oklahoma. Then went to Minnesota.
He's on
Adrian Peterson.
Yeah. Yep.
So he's basically gone broke from being a superstar in the NFL, and so the second part of it is once you've got a means of making money and
learn how
taking care of yourself, you got to be able to manage it. Which it doesn't seem like there's a lot of that in schools nowadays. It's just you're out there. We're going to teach you how to make money, but we're not going to teach you how to manage it. So just staying up on personal finance, investments, the economy, I mean, the market could always change, and so I continue to follow all that type of stuff and try and stay ahead of the game.
Okay. Do you think? Oh wait, here we go. How were you able to afford your degree?
So way back when I went to school, it was a little bit cheaper than it is nowadays, but wages have also gone up. But when I was going to school, I was working part-time. I would work anywhere from 25 to 35 hours a week. So on top of that too, I was a little bit older, so I was able to get a Pell Grant. The government was able to pay for about half of my tuition, and then I would cover the rest. And so during the semester, I'd be working, I'd be making payments on my car, and also trying to be smart and put so much money away each month so that at the end of the semester I would have enough money to pay for that next semester. If I ever got to a point where I was, running short or, it's going to be close, I would put in more hours at work and just try and save a lot. So like when the semester was over and I wasn't in school, I would try and put in a bunch of extra hours. Like summer semester, I'd try and work more. And so by doing all that, I was able to just pay each semester at the beginning of the semester. I think there was one semester where I had to put some on my credit card and then pay it off that month. But so using grants and then just trying to work whenever I could work and just be smart with my money.
Okay. Let's see. Do you think having some education in personal finance could help people with poverty?
I think it would help them a lot. So like I was saying before, I don't think they really teach it, and that probably is one of the subjects that should be right there with math, English, science.
Yeah, almost a mandatory category in high school or something.
Yeah, like a core requirement.
Yeah.
Because like I was saying, one of my first classes I took there at Weaver State was personal finance. It helped me a ton. I've always been pretty good at saving money, but that's only one aspect of it. Within that class, you would go around and talk to different insurers, find different rates for cars, houses, things like that. I remember going out and looking at homes, getting an idea of how much a home costs, what kind of the payments would be. We looked at the market, investing. We looked at all the different aspects of it. I remember even to this day, they had us create a binder, and in that binder we'd have all of our financial information, and so I still use that. But I think it would help a lot, because nowadays you see there's a lot of people with a lot of toys and really big homes, and unless they're making a ton of money, I don't know how they're doing other than living paycheck to paycheck.
Making payments.
And right now with the economy doing well, it works.
Mm-hmm.
But like we were saying earlier, all it takes is
Another 2008, 2009 situation.
some sort of a bubble to burst, and these people are going to be in trouble. They're going to have to sell everything they have. They're going to have to move into lower income housing or something that doesn't cost as much, and
Start all over.
it's hard. Yeah, when you have something nice, it's always easy to move up in your level of living, but to actually have to take a step back and go live in a smaller home or drive a crappier car, it's going to be hard. And so like just seeing what's going out there, and then seeing credit card debt, some of that, you can tell that a lot of these people probably should be having it. And I mean, it's not anything like rocket science. It's very simple, easy concepts, but it would definitely help a lot of people.
Okay. Do you think poverty is going to get worse or better?
Well, it all depends on what people do. I think honestly, if they were to start teaching personal finance within high school as one of the core topics, that would definitely help, and it would lessen. But I do think people out there are still kind of greedy, and even if they do know some of this, they'll still just ignore it and do whatever they want. They want to have that cool car or the big house, so that
Instant gratification.
Yeah, so people look at them and they feel like they've done a good job. A big part of it too depends on the economy. The economy has been doing really well, which I think could help a lot of people get out of poverty. There's plenty of jobs, and so if people really want to get out, they can go get a job and work hard or go back to school. One of the things that will be interesting to see is the wealth gap. You see the ultra rich, and then these poor people, and to an extent, I understand, like, rich people are rich because, at least a lot of them, it's because they've made good decisions, they've worked their butt off, and so they're there for a reason. And the poor, they've kind of put themselves in that situation. Not all of them, but that is the case. But if the wealth gap keeps getting bigger and bigger, it's going to start forcing more and more people into poverty. But yeah, you can't just say, hey, you know what, wealthy people, you worked really hard, we're just going to take your money and give it to these people that aren't working hard. But I think that could play a role into it. And so I don't think they have to necessarily like raise minimum wage or do anything like that. But yeah, we got to make sure that the money isn't just sitting with the few, but have it somewhat spread so that the economy keeps turning. And that's the key, is if you can keep the economy turning, then poverty should slowly lessen.
Good. Have you thought about changing careers?
Yeah, I mean, even back when I was in school, I was thinking about doing business, and so I've always thought, like, accounting, it's a great field. It's something that I don't know that I want to do for my whole life, but I've thought about running my own business. I mean, I try and do investments on the side. Eventually, if I got to a point where I was doing really well, I'd probably switch gears and just do investing. I've thought about going and working for some of these hedge funds, and so instead of necessarily doing the accounting side for these funds, maybe I'd be doing more of the investing, some of their due diligence, going and looking at the investments. I think that would be fun. And then, even to the point where if I got enough money and I didn't really need to work, I still may work, and maybe my career would just be like a bagger at the grocery store where it gives me something to do and go out there and socialize, and to even just going out there and like doing Habitat for Humanity and just helping some of these people that are less fortunate.
Be good. Do you think a college degree is necessary to stay out of poverty?
No, I don't think it's necessary. There's plenty of examples of people who are not in poverty that don't have degrees. I mean, like we were talking about professional athletes, a lot of them don't finish their
Steve
degree.
Jobs.
Steve Jobs, he
I think
dropped
he
out
actually did end up finishing his degree.
after he made all of his
Yeah,
money.
yeah. After he was multi-billionaire, but yeah.
So yeah, I don't think it's necessary for everybody. A lot of people, they grow up, their father, knows a trade and he passes it on to them, and they are able to start their own business and make money using, their own hands. These trades they pick up. I think there's a balance between like blue collar and white collar, and if everybody was white collar, then a lot of the stuff wouldn't get done. The white collar are always like typing stuff and doing that, and there's a place for that. But then there's also a place for those people that are out there building things with their bare hands and doing a lot of that hard work. And so, is it necessary? No, I don't think it is. But does it help? Yeah, your odds of getting out of poverty by going to school greatly increase.
Okay.
And you can kind of see that in some of those stats. They'll show average income for high school degree versus an associate or a bachelor's, and for each of those degrees, the average goes up and up, and so the odds are going to go up and up.
Just as well as your employment security and stuff too. So.
Yep.
Okay. Do you feel that one's upbringing has an impact on their success?
Yeah, so kind of what I was telling you before, like when I was talking to that lady on the plane, a lot of these people, I think they just get used to that standard of living, and that to them is just normal, and they're
acceptable.
Yeah, they're good with it, and so to them, like they don't feel like they're in poverty, but to the rest of us, they are. I also see, some bad. Let's say there's bad parenting out there where the parents don't really care about the success of their children, if they do well in school, if they develop work ethic. Some of those things will definitely lead to it. A lot of these kids might all of a sudden start feeling entitled, and they're like, look, I should be making all this, and it doesn't really go that well in the job force. They won't succeed, and more than likely they're going to end up with a lower paying job. So yeah, definitely upbringing will play a big role. The parents that actually get involved with their kids' lives, help them build confidence, sit down, help them with their homework, those kids are going to be a lot more successful.
Definitely. Okay. How can someone with a history from a family history of poverty break the cycle?
I think it starts with just willpower. I mean, if you come from a poor family and you kind of get out of that neighborhood and out of that bubble and see like, oh, there's more that I could get, more that I could do. Just starting off by seeing that, and then two, having the desire like, okay, I do want more for my family or for my life. And then from there, it's like, okay, I know there's more, I want to have this. It then kind of goes into, okay, I need to learn how to get out of this. And a lot of it, I think, could stem from, talking to those people that do have money or out of poverty, see what they've done.
Learn from them.
Yeah, kind of copy what they've done. A lot of those people too, they'll help out and be like, okay, if you really want, this is the next step. Kind of give a program of how to get out of there, and
kind of like the movie Pursuit of Happiness.
Yeah.
With Will Smith.
Yeah, where he basically was like, what do you do for a living?
Yeah.
I want this car here. And he did it. I mean, he saw that there was a better way for him and his family. Well, at the time it was just him and his son.
Yeah.
And the next step though is you got to put your head down. You got to work. You either got to go to school and improve your brains, or you just got to work super hard and then be smart with your money, but it can be done.
Okay. Have you ever experienced poverty?
to an extent. I mean, it's
We were
kind of
pretty
hard.
poor growing up.